G'day, Tragic here, and this is my first major mod for Tabletop Simulator, Mage Knight. Woohoo! Now, there are a couple of Mage Knight mods already. This is my one. It's almost all completely new, like all new graphics. I've made all new tokens, scans, cards, blah, blah, blah. Now, big thank you to a couple of people, Mr. Stump and Tellytail and Lucky7. They're all big members of the tabletop community and helped me out. And I also want to specifically thank Cryptocia, who made the original Mage Knight mod. Now, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but whatever. Basically, I sent him my asset files and said, look, I'm remaking these files for myself. And he said, oh, look, they look really great. Why don't we team up? So he's written all the scripting and I've done all the rest. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly walk you through how the mod is meant to be used, just in case people have a problem. So the first thing you'll notice is there's a big button that says Start. If you haven't got that button, you've probably got a button in the corner that says Start Scripts. Now, people have different opinions on this, but basically if you click on the scripting button here, there's this little thing that says auto run. Unless you're modding yourself, I would recommend always having that on. Some people say differently, but that's my opinion. And it'll make it a lot easier and everything will work better, especially when you're loading games in progress. So yeah, just turn that on if you haven't got the start button and reload the mod. Now the way it works is when you invite people to play your game, they'll come in and they can select the color to sit at: green, white, red, or blue. White by default is the player one, so this is kind of where you'll be sitting if you're hosting or running a solo game. Now, once you've set up your seats, all you need to do is grab the color that matches you and drop the knight on the Mage Knight you wish to use. And because this is a computer game, you can even choose the same knight. And then you select competitive mode on or off. Let's put competitive mode on and just hit the start button. Bam, and the game will set itself up. You'll see that all the player boards get set up, and for each player, the cards are put out, all the little stuff's put everywhere. And the Mage Knight icons are out. And you're ready to go. Now there's a couple more things you need to do for this setup. Basically all the Mage Knight order tokens are placed in this little area here. You can just shuffle that a few times and then drag out the order, and that'll define the tactic selection order for turn 0. And then you can just get rid of that, just hit delete, you don't need it anymore. And that's pretty much that. And now we're ready to start actually playing the game. But like I said, I'm going to try and power through this, but there are more things. Basically over here, don't screw with these things or you'll stuff up all the scripts, but there is this random player thing. You can shuffle this and just drag icons out of here and determine which Mage Knights you're going to use randomly. So say there were 4 of us, I just dragged out those 4 guys, those would be the guys we'd play with. Or say I'm playing solo, and I drag out 2, so woohoo, I'm playing Wolf Knight, and boom, our dummy player is going to be Tuvok. And that's just a way to get some little randomization without rolling dice and everything. Now, let's have a quick look at the player board. This is Goldies. Now, it's pretty self-explanatory. Basically, you have all your tokens here, which are, you know, your unit tokens. You just drag them and stick them over here as you need them. You have your deck of cards. You can shuffle that. Let's draw 5 cards. And, you know, to use it, you just drag them all out and do all your thing. Now, if you get wounded, there's an infinite wound pile here. You can just drag wounds into your hand. And the reason I did it that way is so when you heal, you can just delete them. Also, if I just grab a unit, let's drop a unit down. When you drop a unit down, it's a good idea to lock them just to make it easier. And that way you can drag select and only select your cards. But if your units get wounded, I've actually put a special unit wound token over here, which you can drag out. And the reason why I did that is if you use an actual wound card, it kind of covers the whole thing up and it's really annoying. I like to be able to still see the unit. And these are stackable, so you can drag multiple wounds onto it. And if you hover over it, it says it's got 1 or 2 wounds. And of course, if you want to use them, you just drag the token down. And that's pretty much that. When you have a whole bunch of cards on the table after you've done all your stuff, you can just drag select it and press the G button for group, and that'll stick them all together. And then you chuck them in the discard. You've got your discard pile, your draw deck, and this is where your tactics go. You've also got your shield tokens. These are the control markers. You can just drag these out as needed. And you've also got your skills. These should be shuffled, but you might want to give them a shuffle just in case. And out come your skills. Now, I haven't included the skill helper card because if you just mouse over and hold, just hold the mouse there, the instructions for the skill will turn up. And then you can just keep the one you want, dump the other one in the communal offer. And that's pretty much that. Now, you will notice that there's this other quest tokens thing. You're probably going, what the hell's that? That is a special token for a print and play expansion that I've also added to this game if you want to use it. Otherwise, just ignore that. And that's the player boards. You'll note that there's little mana selectors over here. You can drag mana that you're using per day into the player board, or you can drag crystals into your inventory to keep for later. And that's the whole player board done. Now, you can grab the dice from here. That's how when you're setting up your game, you pick how many dice you want, and just like any tabletop simulator game, you roll them and whatever. But when you're playing on your player board, often you're zoomed in as you're doing all your thinking. You can actually just dump your dice on this little dice icon here at the corner of your player board, and it will throw the dice back to the source. That's a script that Mr. Stump put on the workshop that I've incorporated in. It's pretty handy, and this will work from any of the locations, obviously. So it makes it a lot easier as you play. So that's the player boards. What else have we got? Basically, up the top we have our rule books. So if you come down here, you can see we've got Show Walkthrough, Show Rulebook, Show Lost Legion Rulebook, Shades of Tesla Rulebook. We also have this print and play index. So if I just click the index, this is just some guy on the Board Game Geek made an index, a detailed index of what's in the walkthrough and the rule book, just so it's easier to find things. So I just put that there for beginners. I also created the scenario guides here. This is a copy of the Board Game Geek data of all the scenarios, sort of put together in a simple, easy to read section. So that's a good way to start the game. But of course, if you want to look up a particular rule, you can just click Rule Book and out will come the rule book, and then you can just read it. You might have to zoom in to be able to read it, but it's there. Okay, so let's just go to scenarios, because what I want to do now is show you how to set up the map. So basically, the map is, you've got the countryside tiles, the core set tiles, the city tiles, and I've also given you 2 tile shufflers just to sort of juggle things around if you need it. Most scenarios, you can just shuffle these decks and just drag them straight out. But in the case of some, you'll need to use the tile shufflers. So let's actually quickly have a look at a quest. Let's have a look at Shades of Tesla, Life and Death. Okay, so we'll just zoom in here. We'll say we're playing a 4-player game. I just do Control 1 to save that camera. In this particular one, we need 3 city tiles, a red, a green, and we need 4 non-city tiles, 4 non-city core tiles. So come over here, I'll press Control 0 to set the spacebar camera. So all we need to do is drag these out and find that there's a red city tile. So we'll put that in the tile shuffler. Blue we don't need. Green, we put that in the tile shuffler. And then we'll stick that back in the city tiles and just shuffle. And then drag out 1 city. And then we'll just shuffle these, and we needed 4 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Okay. And then we'll just shuffle that, and we can drag our core tiles onto the offer, and we are basically on our way to creating that scenario. We also need 5 glades and 11 total countryside tiles. So to do that, let's just find those glades. So we'll just, there's a glade. There's a glade. Okay, so there's 6 glades total. We only need 5, so let's just shuffle that. Then we'll drag 1 away. We'll put all these back into this box and shuffle. And we'll just drag the other ones here. 8, 9, 10, 11. And then we shuffle that, and we can drag that onto the tile offer. And that is basically how you use the tile offer to get everything set up for your games. It's a little bit overwrought, but you know, it's actually still less than doing it manually. We didn't want to write a script for it because there's so many scenarios, it would just be a lot of work. Now, basically, this particular quest is an open map using tile side B. So if you hover over the start tile, you see it says 1 or 2. So we'll press 2 and it'll switch it to the B tile, and then we're going to drop it on top of the B on the table, and we're ready to go. A good idea is to press the L key and lock tiles in place as you place them, and that way they you know, they won't flip around and be all annoying. And there you go, there's the first set of tiles all ready to go. And you can stack your mage knights as you need them. So that's basically how to set up the game. Now if we come over here, we'll see a couple more things. During the setup, it'll automatically place your fame tokens and your reputation tokens, but you'll see there's quite a lot of monsters tokens here. These orcs and dragons and dungeon tiles have both Lost Legion and the core set in it, which is how most people always play. So they're the kind of default. But over here, these ones here, they're actually all the tokens in the game, including the Tesla tokens. Okay, so these have, there's 22 dragons here, there's only 14 dragons here. Now over here, we have the Tesla and the Tesla tokens split into the Elementalist and the Necromancer tokens, and that is a requirement of the Tesla expansion if you're playing the Tesla scenarios. So what I'm saying here is that most of the time you're just going to use these ones here. And I've also put little discard piles up here that you can use. There's the Necropolis and the Graveyard tokens, and in here you've got the other things, the little whatever tokens. And over here you've got the Elementalist and the Dark Crusader themselves. This is the faction wheel. And just like the map tile, there's 13 numbers on here. So if we want him level 5, we just press 5 and he'll switch to level 5. We'll put this guy on level 6. and then you can use him as, you know, the rules dictate. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Oh, one more thing. There's a special die here, which is a 6-sided dice with 3 sides Dark Crusader, 3 sides Elementalist. And that's because in the Elementalist quests, there are any map tiles in the middle of the map, you roll to see who gets it. So this way you can, you know, there's just a special die you can use for that. And just for fun, I also made another special die over here, which is the artifact rolling die for when you win a dungeon. So it's got the, you know, the 1 and the 6 spot is for spells, and everything else gives a result of an artifact. Okay. Now the offers over here are semi-scripted. So basically the spell offer and the action offer are 100% scripted. So, you know, like say I took that spell, I can just, you know, refresh it. Or at the end of the round, I can just click it and it'll do its thing. So that's those things. But the unit offer isn't scripted. You have to do that manually. So you just take it off and, you know, pull out the cards you need. To take the offer away, you got to pick up the card, flip it over, press the right mouse button, and then you just slide it under the deck like that. And you can get pretty quick at it after some practice. So you just press right click and then drag it and it will slide under. Also, you'll notice that even though the offer for the units is up here, there's another line of cards here, and that is for the monastery offer. So every time you get a monastery, you get like an action card. So what you can do, you can drag a monastery from the revealed monastery tokens and just dump it on there, like so. And if you drag multiple tokens, like so we have 3, when you mouse over it, it'll say 3 revealed monasteries. So you know to drag out 3. And of course, if you burn a monastery down, you can just get rid of 1. Now it says 2. And that is the end of that. So that's how the offer works. And I think that's pretty much everything. Oh yeah, there's some extra stuff over here. The missing Lost Legion components are in here if you want to play the Lost Legion rules. And also the quest card rules are in here as well. This is a custom mod, you know, a custom expansion from the Geek that you can use if you wish. A couple more things. Oh yeah, one more thing. Let me load up the demo again. If you want to play solo but play multiple Mage Knights, you can. So say I wanted to play cooperatively. Well, first of all, do cooperative and we'll play a solo game with the Wolf Girl. So we drag all these people on here. And we'll just put cooperative off and we hit start. It'll set the game up as per usual, but it'll also make this nice little dummy board. Unfortunately, it won't delete the other dummy boards, but you can just delete them manually if they're really bugging you. And then over here, you have the dummy stuff that you need when playing with a dummy. So say we're playing with Krang as our dummy player. We'll just drag out these things manually. So there's Krang's skills, there's his cards, there's his player marker, and there's his actual card. We'll just lock that in place. And this is just like a normal dummy thing. So, you know, you drag out the crystals you need him to have, and you're ready to go. And that's pretty much that. Another little thing is, you can see how that mouse over can annoy you. You can right click and just go to toggles and turn off the tooltip on those things and they will disappear. I might actually do that by default before I upload. And finally, there's one more thing I want to show you, which is if you're doing multiple Mage Knights yourself. Like say you want to play, because this is how I play cooperatively, and I play 4 knights or 3 knights if I'm in a rush. So say I'm doing those knights, I put cooperative on, I'll hit the start button, and everything's set up. But you'll note if I try and I can't see these cards. You know, like say if I deal to green, nothing happens. You know, I can't do it basically. So if I go into the scripting zones and go to hands, you can see that what I need to do is make those zones white. So basically you just right click on it and set it to white, like so. White, I said, yeah, like so. And now I can just drag these in and I can flip them up and I can play the game, you know, just as if I'm playing all characters. And that's pretty much that. Now I think that's about everything. I can't think of anything else I need to say. Got the resistance tables that I made for you guys. I should upload that to the Geek actually. People might like that. And I also made a token enemy abilities sheet, which I uploaded to the Geek for people to print out if they want. And that is about it. That is Mage Knight scripted, thanks to Cryptotia. And I hope you guys like it, and I will see you guys next time.